Let's go. Here we go. MVP Sports News and Fantasy Podcast. My name is Tyler Johnson, and with me is a good friend, Ryan Elke. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How you doing yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. I know that you just had a beer. I got a beer in my hand, and we are ready to do this first episode of the MVP Podcast. For the people out there who end up listening, we are long best friends. We've played every sport under the sun, and we've been playing fantasy football for just as long. I know that this podcast is going to be great to inform anyone out there who's looking for a one-up or any sort of news around the league, NFL and MLB. We want to be out here helping you throughout the way, just like other podcasts have done for us. I'm going to switch it over to Ryan. Tell us a little about yourself.
All right. My name is Ryan Elke. I'm 30 years old. I have a 2-year-old daughter, and I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My three favorite sports are the three main sports, the NFL, the MLB, and the NBA. In the NFL, my two favorite teams are going to be the Lions, number 1, and Green Bay, number 2. Backstory on that, I know it sounds crazy. People are asking, how is he a Lions and Packers fan? And trust me, I've got that my whole life, and I've had to explain the story. I can't even count. So here, the story on that is, when I was a little kid, I would watch the games with my dad. It would be the Packers, and then one day I watched football Sunday by myself, and it was Lions on TV with the greatest running back of all time, Barry Sanders, just the human joystick out there tearing apart. I want to say it was the Carolina Panthers in their expansion season, 1-4-0. And I was like, oh wow, this team looks great. That's gonna be my team. And they're blue as a kid, blue. That was my favorite color, still is. And that's how they stuck with me. Was it the great decision? No, it was terrible. Heartbreak. It's rough. But you know what? I stuck with them. And it's not going to change. And then
you're still getting those heartbreaks.
Oh, dude, it's every. It kind of sucks, but I wish I chose the Patriots or something, right? But no, I chose the Lions. That's my team.
Yeah.
It's the Lions versus Green Bay in a Super Bowl, even though it's impossible, I would choose the Lions. I would. That's my true love.
All right.
I do love. I like the Packers too. I'm going to cheer for them because they're the hometown team. But like I said, if they're playing heads up from Detroit, let's move to the MLB. My favorite team is the Brewers. Die-hard Brewers fan. I love them to death. I'm all about the Brewers. I do have some simple love for the Kansas City Royals and the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners is mainly due to Ken Griffey Jr. Like that's the whole thing. That's my favorite athlete of all time. Tyler's, I think that's yours as well.
100%. What a great athlete.
The guy was, and he in the steroid era, man. Like, and he didn't even, to our knowledge, he didn't take it. He didn't take any steroids, and that's crazy to think about. If he didn't get derailed by injuries, he'd be the greatest MLB player of all time.
Natural athlete.
Yeah, it's insane. The Kansas City Royals backstory was, again, it's similar to Detroit. They're blue. First game I went to as a kid, it was 1997. It took me. It was the Brewers versus the Royals, and at that time I was about trying to find two different teams, the hometown team from wherever, and that's who I followed. I followed the Royals, so. They won the World Series a few years back. It was great. It was a good feeling. I mean, it's not the same feeling as the Brewers. I would cry, dude. I'll go like a baby. I can't. So.
Yeah, we were close last year to cry.
Oh yeah, Game 7. That's pretty crazy. The Brewers almost changed the whole game. But
and you're a big Bucks fan too.
Oh yeah, yep. Moving to the. Yeah, NBA, it's all Bucks. I mean, like I said, it's a little bit Rockets because of Tracy McGrady. That was my favorite basketball player.
Yeah, Bucks.
It's all
too.
Milwaukee. Yeah, it's all Milwaukee.
You have to root for the home team, even on the lowest lows. We know lowest lows with the Bucks, with the Brewers. It just feels good to have.
Tyler, the last time the Bucks won a playoff series was 2001. 2001.
And this year, seeing us almost at the top, watching all those big broadcasters talk about us, is amazing.
Oh, this is the year we at least win. I'll bet on it. I'll bet.
Well, my name is Tyler Jones, and And like Ryan said, we are big-time Milwaukee fans, big-time Green Bay fans. I don't know how he can pick Detroit over Green Bay. But my secondary team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a huge Steelers fan just because of growing up. I always played that Pee-wee football, and that was my main team. Ever since then, I've always followed them. But when they reach it to a Super Bowl, I am definitely rooting for the Packers, and that's what happened. It was awesome. So
what? So 2010, you were cheering Green Bay over Pittsburgh, huh?
Oh yeah, and
what a good time!
It was like the perfect time. And then MLB, Brewers, 100%. I don't really have a second team. I know I'm a big fan of the Reds just because of Ken Griffey Jr. And that's kind of your line situation where you root for the lowest team, but your hometown's a lot better.
I'll admit I was pretty disappointed when Ken Griffey Jr. went to the Reds back in the day. That was rough.
And then the NBA, I know we don't cover NBA too often, but Bucks all the way. So I'm 29 years old, and we are just looking forward to doing this podcast, talking to everyone out there. Anyone who will listen, who wants some information regarding the fantasy football season, and then just news about MLB and NFL. We're super excited to get this started. So
hey, we can talk more about the NBA if it's requested and people want that. No problems.
Yeah,
I have nothing against that at all.
I'll definitely talk about it. I know the season's going on now. We can hit any highlights that are happening. So switching over, we want to talk about our fantasy football. How many leagues we were in. We want to talk about the most we've ever been in, and then just our backstory. So Ryan, tell me about your fantasy football career.
All right, it all started in 2002 is when I first heard about it, so I checked it out. We got some leagues going. It was all free leagues. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was young.
Yeah.
Started back then, up until current, and I didn't start playing serious fantasy up until probably 2010. That's when I think I hit my first $50 entry league time.
Well,
I thought that was
a
lot of money.
Even us as friends, starting off in 2006, I mean, you literally made us all Yahoo accounts with the same looking account with the same password.
Oh yeah,
of 6A. Just to
up
get
the neighborhood group, man.
Yeah, just to get a season started. It got us all in, and that whole group that you made accounts for, we play till this day.
And guess what? Every single one of them plays fantasy football to this day. Yes, yep, correct.
And even in our league today, that's what 13 years ago, and we're all still playing, and we're just getting better.
Yeah, everyone caught on to it, and they fell in love with this. You know, it's a great creation. I'll get that. When it's fantasy season, dude, that is like Christmas to me. I cannot wait for the draft. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I put a lot of time into it. Everyone getting better, and then you have us to this day, and now we're making a podcast. We have a lot of information to give to the people over those 13 to your close to 15 years of experience. So what's the most games or the most teams you've had in a single season?
All right, pretty absurd, but 2 years ago I had 14 teams.
14.
14. When I told anyone about that, they called me crazy.
And most of them were money leagues, if all of them.
Oh, they're all money leagues. They're all money leagues. That ranged from $20 up to $100.
Yeah.
So with those, I want to say it was too much. It's hard to say that because I love it, but it was too much.
Oh God.
The best number for me is what I found out: 10 leagues. I can manage them perfectly, and I prefer Yahoo, and that's I feel that's the best site.
And even 10 leagues is just astronomical compared to what I would consider maybe three to four, just so you can give it your full attention.
Yeah, most people I talk to, I want to say they say around 5 leagues, 3, 4, 5 leagues, and that's what I was in this year. I was in 5, and as it was good, but I know I could have had more. Like I said, 10 is my magic number. Next year I'm going back to 10.
Well, and you're just addicted to fantasy football. You're like on it every single minute of every single day. So having 10 leagues, I know you can do it.
My free time consists of fantasy football, man. That's what it was.
That's crazy. What about this season? Tell me about this season.
This year, I was in my 5 leagues. I won 2 of them. I got a 3rd place, a 4th place, and then I got 7th in a 14-man league. I had a great team, but my 2 running backs, Kerryon Johnson and Sony Michel, they both got hurt. So that kind of hurt me. And it was – the waiver wire was messed up. The commission of the league had it reverse standings, so it kind of screwed me. So I never had any help. Mm-hmm. But I won the toilet bowl, which was the losers bracket, so I got $10.
Hey, as long as you can make it that far, it's more than 80% of the people in the league. So
I feel any year you make money,
it's
a successful year.
You always go in at least wanting to make your money back, but for us and the amount of time you put into it, you definitely want to win it.
Oh, I'm telling you right now, if I came out even, Tyler, if I came out even, that's a failure. The time I put into this, coming out even or losing money from it, that's just a failure to me.
And then more that we get into this podcast throughout the weeks, we'll talk about like Ryan's trading strategies and how he creates these dynasty teams. You would be surprised at what loses in the championship game or even in the playoffs. Everything's open, but man, going in with that dominant team because you've created it. That's why it's so disappointing.
You just build throughout the year, man. If you're not trading, you're not trying.
And we'll get into that later on. But for me, my season, I was in 4 leagues. I had a 1st place, 2nd place. I lost in the first round of the playoffs, and then I lost on the bubble. So I didn't even make it into the playoffs. But 1st place team, going in, I said I was going to talk about it earlier. Went in as the lowest seed, but the 2nd highest points in the league, and I was at 6-7 with the 2nd highest points. So they put me at the 6th seed, and I ended up winning it.
That's a dangerous team.
You go in with a dominant team, you run the table. I was putting up huge points. Players were underperforming, but not mine. So. We'll talk about that in later weeks. I want to break down my trades, waivers, what we did to build our teams. So, moving on, I wanted to talk a little bit more about last week's playoff and the quarterfinal games. So the first one we're going into is the Chiefs versus the Colts. They were the first game. Ryan, tell me a little about this game.
So that game was played in Kansas City, and I feel the weather conditions were just terrible for Indianapolis. They are a dome team. They play against the AFC South, and those are all warm weather teams. I mean, Tennessee can get a little, but they're not used to playing in the snow weather like that. So I felt like that was in KC's favor.
God, just seeing how cold it was through a TV, it made me cold, and I guess it kind of showed on the ground. The running game, Damian Williams got 25 carries for 129 yards. They were really pounding the rock. I know that Patrick Mahomes didn't even throw a touchdown. It was 278 yards with 41 attempts, 27 completed. So, Travis Kelce, you knew the tight end in the cold weather was going to be the second beneficiary. You have Damian Williams running it, and you got your tight end catching it. So that's 7 receptions, 108 yards. But no receiver caught a touchdown. And that goes for the Chiefs. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Well, the game script was KC all the way. They got out to the early lead. They could run the rock. And Damian Williams, that's crazy how he filled in. He just jumped right in the shoes of Kareem Hunt. They didn't lose a step. They didn't at all. I just think that was pretty crazy. No one saw him. I remember when he signed with KC, he came from Miami, and they signed him. And I'm like, why would they sign him? They have Kareem Hunt, they have Spencer Ware. Like, he's just gonna sit there. He was starting games last year for Miami.
Yeah, and
just
Spencer
look how crazy
Ware
that is.
Being injured really helped Damian Williams because he was going to get the bulk until he got injured, and then now Williams comes out of nowhere, gets an extension, and he's going to probably be the main guy.
Oh, they gave him a contract extension. Yep. I'm not sure what the terms were, but they're going to move on from Spencer Ware. And Damian Williams just fits the offense better. He's fast, he's agile, he can catch, he can run. He does it all.
He fits that.
He showed it. He showed it down the stretch, and he helped me. He helped me win a couple championships.
Me too. We'll be talking about that. And then on the cold side, you knew being such a cold game. I mean, Andrew Luck only threw 19 completions out of 36 attempts, and then 200 yards. He had a 1 touchdown to T.Y. Hilton, but it really wasn't in his favor. So Marlon Mack, you think he'd get more carries, but being down so much going into the second half, Mack only had 9 carries for 46 yards.
Yeah, he was neutralized. Second half, he was. They had.
They were at such a disadvantage.
And with KC's run game being pretty dominant, they control the clock too. So it was just the game was out of hand, and that is done.
Yeah. So pretty much over before it began. So talking about the next game, a little bit closer, we have the Cowboys and the Rams, where the Cowboys fell to the Rams by 8 points. Anything you want to talk about this game, Ryan?
What stands out to me is what a key signing the Rams had at the end of the year. C.J. Anderson, cut from Carolina.
Straight off the couch.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't have an opportunity in Carolina. They cut him, gave the reins to McCaffrey, and he ends up being the second fiddle to Todd Gurley. But honestly, it's what a difference he's made. Well, Dallas, top 5 run defense, and he shredded them. He was tearing them up.
Well, and he got 23 carries, and Todd Gurley got 16. Yep. So you know that they're kind of using C.J. Anderson as the main guy while Todd Gurley is a little bit injured.
That's what I wanted to say. You have to wonder.
It feels good having that guy. Anderson, 2 touchdowns. Gurley, 1. Goff didn't even have to throw a touchdown.
I feel the key for the Rams, they bottled up Elliott.
Yeah.
So that was big for them.
I mean, Elliott, what was he at? He was sub 50 yards. So
on how many carries? 20-some carries?
Let me see here. I have the box score in front of me. Yeah, he had 20 carries for 47 yards. He did score, but that is such a loss for the Cowboys. I mean, you need him.
He's the engine to that team.
Yeah. And if he's not going, you can't put everything on Prescott. He's not going to produce the numbers of like a Mahomes who can carry a game.
Sure.
So
I want to talk about as much as what a pickup Amari Cooper was. Everyone made fun. They traded a first-round pick for Amari Cooper. Yeah. Honestly, that was probably one of the best trades all year, and everyone. But it was worth it. What Amari Cooper did to open up that offense. And they had to lock on to Cooper. He was literally ripping teams apart after they got him. Mm-hmm. So that opened up the run game as well. And I think going into next year, Dallas is a dangerous team. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I just don't like them. But they are a scary team, and you got to respect them. You can't look past them, especially with them.
Yeah, in the game, Cooper went 6 for 65 and a touchdown. But
game.
Yeah, and talking about that trade, you think about the first round wide receiver drafts, they don't normally pan out first year, second year. You know, you wait for that breakout, but getting Amari Cooper right away, you know who you're getting, and you know the talent. So it's almost like you're cutting the risk for the player.
The talent was there too, even in Oakland.
Yeah.
Derek 100%. Carr, he's just not a good quarterback, and you got Gruden over there. He's got a 10-year contract. I do believe he's going to win a Super Bowl within them 10 years, but I see what he's doing. You know, he's getting rid of all the talent. He's stacking up first-round picks. He's going to trust himself, and you can see Oakland turning around fairly quickly.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of time. So,
Mm-hmm.
moving on to the next game, we're talking another blowout. We got the Patriots and the Chargers. What do you think about that game, Ryan?
There's not much to say. That was just a it was
Well,
a beatdown.
when you score 35 points in the first half, it was 35 to 7 going into the half. I'm pretty sure you can turn your TV off because the Patriots are not going to lose that.
What are you going to do against Bill Belichick? He is the best coach of all time. He's the best coach of all time, and I don't even...
You give him
the
time
guy... Yeah, exactly. And the game plans he brings out.
To game plan against any team. I mean, I'm even scared him going into the Chiefs. We're going to talk about that too. But there's a lot of planning going on. I think they can shut some people down. So,
with the Chargers, though, I feel so bad for Phillip Rivers. I like him. I respect him. I like his drive, his competitiveness. He deserves a ring. You know what he reminds me of?
He's easy to root for.
He reminds me, actually, I'm going to say it right now. He's this generation of like Dan Marino. That's him. No rings, great talent, yards. He's got the numbers. He's got everything. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
And that's what I was going to bring up. A lot of people are talking about that Hall of Fame quarterback putting his name in there without the accolades of Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, you can see it. He passes the eye test, unlike an Eli Manning. And Eli Manning has 2 rings, and he's going to make the Hall of Fame. But Phillip Rivers is a better quarterback than Eli Manning.
Yeah,
you're going to have both ends of that. Yes.
It's side by side. You know who it should be, but people look at things differently. So
yeah, it's kind of accolades go along.
Yeah. So in that game, Sony Michel teared it up with 24 carries, 130 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then Rex Burkhead, only 4 carries, but got that touchdown also. They were just tearing the Chargers.
What about James White, man? 15 catches, tied the record.
Catches.
What a weapon he is.
Where was that in my playoffs? 15 receptions for 97 yards. Doesn't even need a touchdown. That's PPR, man. That's 24 points.
Hey, in fantasy, he carried a lot of teams down.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, he fell off a little bit, but he was a top 5 running back for half the year.
Yeah.
In PPR.
And then you got Brady's go-to with Julian Edelman, 9 receptions, 151 yards. That's a big-time threat. It's kind of a bummer having Josh Gordon gone, so he's picking up the slack.
I mean, everyone saw that coming. The guy was on the case. So much talent just wasted. It's kind of...
Well,
what do you think about your boy Gronk, man? I know you drafted him in fantasy.
Well, I was just about to bring him up. 1 reception for 25 yards. I drafted him in the 3rd round thinking it was a steal. I know that a lot of people...
We all thought it was a steal, but he fell because we were all...
A lot of pros were talking about Rob Gronkowski. He's going to be a top tight end with this very low tight... I mean, there's only 5 tight ends that you would want to have. Yep. So drafting him in the 3rd round, you thought you had a stud.
Part of me thinks he's if they win it all this year, he's retiring.
There's a few people.
Don't. Yeah, I do think he's gonna walk away.
Yeah, and he's already said he doesn't want to go to a different team. In the press conference, he said if he's getting traded, he's just gonna retire.
You know, he forced his way out of my Detroit Lions. They had a trade on the table ready to send him.
Yeah,
he straight up told him, "I'm not going there. If you trade me, I'm retiring." So. Oh, how sad. It'd be nice to have Gronkowski with the cannon arm of Stafford.
Yeah. And then you look at that game, they shut down Melvin Gordon. And knowing Belichick, he's scheming for that. He's scheming for Melvin Gordon and Keenan Allen. He scored a touchdown, but...
Yep. At the end of the game, it was garbage time. It
was 2 receptions for like 60 yards. He was up there, 90 yards, but... Yeah, they were covering him.
It doesn't help. What's Melvin Gordon? What is he supposed to do?
Yeah.
Halftime, like you said, it's 35 to 7. Melvin Gordon's already out. Like they were using Eckler in the second half because he was catching the ball.
For the pass
Melvin Gordon's eliminated from the game at that point.
Yeah, even in that first half, if you're not getting him going, all of a sudden it just falls to the wayside. You got to put all your chips in the passing game, and they're just more of a rounded team, not more of a one-dimensional passing. So.
Yep, you can never look away from. You can't count them out. It doesn't matter if Tom Brady's 45. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, even being people said the underdog going into the playoffs. Yep. So we'll talk a little bit more when we get to the next round coming this week. Next on our list, we had the Eagles versus the Saints, which got off to a scary start, but who knows? Maybe they were just planned out plays. The first two drives for the Eagles was 14-0 in that first quarter, and then never scored again.
It was a dream start for Philadelphia. That's exactly what they needed. And honestly, I felt Foles' magic, man. I felt it. I'm like, here we go again. Nick Foles, here he comes. You know, I just that Philadelphia team rallies around Nick Foles.
Yeah, and it's hard not to root for the guy. It's hard.
I don't like Philadelphia, but part of me wanted Foles to make another run and win the Super Bowl, and then he would be a free agent in the offseason, which would be ridiculous.
Yeah. And he's going to make a lot of money next
season.
For
sure. He'll make over $20 million a year, but I want to say he's going to be comparable to like a Case Keenum. He's not going to be anything special somewhere else. That's my opinion on it. New Orleans is such a tough team, man. And
in New Orleans, they couldn't run the ball to save their life. They had everything on Foles throwing the ball. I mean, Smallwood was 10 carries for 33 yards, and that's it.
I just feel New Orleans, they're due, man. After last year's debacle in Minnesota, they deserve it. They deserve to move on. And Drew Brees, you know, I feel he doesn't get as much respect as he should as one of the all-time greats. I mean,
the first couple of quarters, he wasn't looking that great. I mean, we look at Aaron Rodgers and kind of the passes he's missing. It's kind of similar to the passes that I saw Brees missing this last game, just because he threw a lot of underthrows and he was holding the ball too much. But come second quarter, third quarter, he started picking it back up.
Yeah, because that man, Michael Thomas, the guy's just a beast. So glad I had him in all my fantasy leagues this year. Guy's a straight animal.
And people were ragging on him. I mean, he didn't do that well.
He's not fast. He's not agile. Okay, he dominates. He literally
12 receptions, 171 yards with a touchdown.
Insane.
That's insane.
I mean, Philadelphia's secondary is just riddled with injuries, but still, to put up those kind of numbers, and he's literally the only receiver they have. I mean, Kamara's running back / receiver, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, Kamara's the second.
He's the main receiver, and he just goes and he puts up numbers like that.
Well, and I remember when Traquan Smith was kind of a hot topic end of the season.
A couple good games.
But then he fell off again. They got Tengen Jr. He's a deep threat, but he didn't play a factor. So the rushing game, no one over 100. You had Alvin Kamara at 16 for 71, and then Ingram 9 carries for 53 yards.
So, Ingram had a couple big carries down the stretch to seal that game, though.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Well, what sealed the game is the Lattimore interception right through Jeffrey's hands, but that's sad. I felt bad for the guy, honestly.
And he was crying and everything. It's hard to look at that because you want that last throw in the end zone to see if they can take the lead. Oh, God.
I just felt Nick Foles was ready to do it again.
Yeah.
Guys, playing with Philly is just nuts. I got a question for you. I'm going to throw you on the spot, Tyler. If you're the Philadelphia GM, what do you do? Wentz or Foles? Foles, now you got to remember, Foles is a free agent. Actually, he does have a 1-year option. If they bring him back, they got to pay him $20 next year. And you got to think Philadelphia has only $15 million in cap. So
100% bring Wentz back. I mean, they kept Foles this year, and it worked out. But you're not going to be able to keep Foles, especially the money he's going to be making this next year. And I wouldn't keep him just because Wentz is younger. He has been injured, but he's the future.
All right, I agree with you. I do.
Okay, because I think there's plenty of teams that are going to go after Foles There's a lot of low-level teams that need a
Oh,
quarterback.
they're going to be chasing what he did in Philly.
Yeah. And I'm scared it might be another Cousins situation where a team just goes for him, and then all of a sudden it's like you spent too much money on a quarterback that isn't performing like you thought he was.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with you, man. You got Wentz on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
You got to go with him. You traded up in the draft to get him.
Yeah, you got to build around
he's your
him.
Future. He's your future.
Especially if you're an Ertz owner, you definitely want Wentz.
Yeah, I had Ertz. What a good safety blanket to have. Tight end.
Oh my goodness, what a beast! So now we're getting into our predictions, our thoughts going to this Sunday. We got the Rams and Saints, and these are some excellent matchups that I'm excited to watch.
Oh, it should be some exciting football. I mean, it's Rams at Saints. I love the matchup. Two high-scoring teams
in a dome.
Yep, and then I'm pulling for New Orleans, and I think it's going to be a close game, but I see New Orleans out. Breeze is that guy. He's going against the younger Goff. It might be too big of a stage for him. The thing that's going to help Goff and the Rams is that run game is pretty crazy. They got playmakers, Brandon Cooks and Woods. They got Saints, big names on the defense. They can make plays too, but it's a good. The teams match up very well. The teams do match up very well, but I feel experience should win this one.
You would hope so. And being the Saints defense, like picking it up this year, coming late in the season, I mean, I think they're ranked 13 or 14, and the Rams are up there at like 18 and 19. And if the Rams can't get the run game going, I'm kind of scared at Goff's passing these last few months have been.
I feel if Goff is forced to pass the rock and they're down a lot, it's done. They got to mix in that game. I really, truly believe the game is going to one of those Sean McVay, the coach of the Rams, going to go. He loves being aggressive. He's going to pull off one of those aggressive moves, and it's fail, and that change all.
Okay, and I can see that because I see New Orleans getting out to a good start. They're going to definitely learn from what they did last game.
Oh, they can't go down 14-0 to the Rams. They can't.
No.
Not like they did to Philly, because you're in trouble. You are in deep trouble if that happens.
Exactly. So
they got that 200 monster at running back with Anderson and Gurley. You don't want to be messing with that.
Yeah, they'll click the time
then
down.
You can hit that play action deep to Brandon Cooks. It's just trouble. You can't start the game like you did last week, and New Orleans knows that. They're not gonna. It's not gonna happen. I truly believe it's gonna be a close game. It could end on Lutz field goal, something like that. I do want to see the game come down to it with Drew Brees having the ball in a pressure situation. I want to see what he can do.
Yeah,
I know he can do it, but I want to see it.
Well, and then also Woods coming out of nowhere. He's actually the best receiver on the team. He's top 10 this year, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's close to top 5 on how consistent he's been.
Oh, he's a great receiver. The chemistry that they have is excellent.
What a steal in the draft. My goodness.
So who do you have?
So Vegas has Saints winning by 3. Let me check the over-under. So Saints at 3.5 with a 57 over-under. So that's a higher scoring game. Okay. I take New Orleans. I have to.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm going New Orleans. I truly love this game. It's going to be a biter. It's going to be a fun watch. And I don't think they're going to let us down. If the Rams win, I'm not going to be, really upset. They deserve it. They deserve it too. But I want to see Drew Brees in the
100%
in the Super Bowl.
I think that the Rams have a good thing going. I think New Orleans is really just pushing for this Super Bowl this year, and I
feel New Orleans is more built for this stage.
Yeah.
As
especially
the Rams
being at
next
home.
year, they'll be a more seasoned team and to go to the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah,
this especially year, I feel New Orleans is the team to pick.
Being at New Orleans is such an advantage.
Oh, it's tough, very tough.
So
we both got New Orleans in that game. Let's move on to the next one.
Yep. and then we got the Patriots coming over to KC.
That one's
Gonna
at
be a cold
KC,
one.
correct?
What was that?
That's New England at KC, correct?
Yep, correct.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be between -5 and 10 degrees. That is a cold game. But if there's one person that knows how to play in the cold, it's Brady.
That's what I wanted to get to, man. That weather bodes well for the Patriots. I just feel like that is a game changer.
Yeah.
Is Mahomes the running gun and rock that hard football thrown as fast as he does down the field? I don't know, man. That's going to be rough. It fits so well for the Patriots, and they're going to scheme against Mahomes. And I'm going to tell you right now, I feel this is what they need to do. They need to pressure Mahomes into making the mistakes. They want to force him. You want to try to force him to do too much. If he plays out of his element, that's where he's vulnerable, and you can take advantage of that. And who's the best at taking advantage of mistakes? You tell me, Tyler.
It's 100% the Patriots.
The Patriots and the best coach ever. And I am talking like I love the Patriots, and I do not. I can't stand that.
You look at a game like this, though, and you're like, regular season, Chiefs are rolling. But when you get into the playoffs,
it's a whole new ball game, Tyler. It's a whole new ball game.
0 degrees.
Now they're both great coaches, but who has the experience? Who has it?
Everyone
Bill Belichick
on the Patriots.
and the Patriots, dude. It's just you can't. I want to pick KC. I really want to pick KC, but my pick in this game, New England. If I had to bet, it's New England. I'm going New England.
Yep, and you want to know what? As an underdog of 3 points, that just shows it's got a 55 over/under. And being only 3 points is nodding the cap to the Patriots because they see that temperature going down and the point spread is also going closer to 0 just because the odds know that the Patriots are a great team. I could see Bill Belichick shutting down Williams after that last game because he knows they're going to be running the ball and he wants to put the pressure. So I could see him blitzing to stop the run, along with getting pressure on Mahomes. And who knows, with Tyreek Hill having that injury, I know he's playing through it.
Yeah, that's a key factor
in that
too.
cold.
I didn't even think about that. Do you have the over-under on this game for 20 points?
Yeah, over-under is 55.
Okay, I got the under. I truly believe it's going to be not a low-scoring game, but not where it thinks it's going to be. And just because of the weather and the Patriots, here's the best way. This just hit me. The best way to neutralize Mahomes is to keep him off the field. And how they can do that, they have 3 running backs.
They got
Sony Michel looking healthy. When he's healthy, Patriots are damn near unstoppable. They got him. Burkhead is back. They got their little weapon out of the backfield, James White.
Yep.
It's just they can move the clock. They can move the change, milk the clock, keep it out of Mahomes' hands, take the lead, put him in pressure situations, and force him to make mistakes. Now, do I want that to happen? No, but that's the game plan.
And that's going to be a great game plan. I look forward to watching this game, but I'm also scared it could be a boring one. Like you talking, it's going to be cold. It's going to be a lot of running backs, and I think we're going to see a lot of pressure on both quarterbacks. So we're going to see a lot of fast passes. Edelman. We see if Gronk.
Look for Gronk to bounce back.
Yeah,
look for him to bounce back in this.
See if Gronk can't get a throw-up touchdown this week.
I'm going to say it right now. Gronk has a touchdown. I think he does.
Yeah, and it's hard not to say that, but this season, that could be a hot take.
He could be a game changer in this one for sure.
So we both got the Patriots. I'm guessing you're going Patriots
in New Orleans. Yep, okay. I'm going Patriots in New Orleans.
So we're taking the vets. The
battle of the vets in the Super Bowl. Nice one to see.
But you want to know
again, I want to talk about this too. Yeah. So what if it's the rematch of Mahomes and that one shootout on Monday night? Now it was an exciting game, but how you said this game might be boring. I don't mind that. That's football. It's football, and I do like that, especially in the playoffs. I want to see that chess match. I don't want to see that shootout where it's 55-52, something like that. I just don't. So this isn't arena football, man. I just wanted to get that out there. As fun as it was to watch and exciting it was, for me, I guess I'm a little older. I mean, I'm 30 years old. I don't know if that's old. It's just like I don't know if I want to see that. I don't know if I want to see the barn burner arena football style Super Bowl.
Okay. And where's the Super Bowl this year?
The Super Bowl is.
I'm trying to think of where they're hosting the Super Bowl this year. Was it Atlanta?
It's blanking me right now. I think it is Atlanta.
But I have a feeling it was in the lower part of the United States where it's going to be warmer, so a shootout is actually more in favor with those domes or warm temperatures.
Oh, for sure. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. It's in Atlanta. So you could say it is the Rams and the Chiefs. That could be another shootout.
Yeah, it could be a high-scoring game. When they last played, like you're talking about, was the best game to watch. But I don't know
insane.
for a Super Bowl.
It was insane.
That's what I want to watch.
Exactly.
I'd be excited watching the Patriots versus New Orleans or Patriots versus the Rams because I like seeing Bill Belichick in the Super Bowl. Just the way he can pick apart a team.
Yeah, exactly. So as it sounds, I do. They deserve to be in the Super Bowl because they've been there, and I want to see someone take them down in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I want to see.
Well, same as last year.
Right. Exactly. Oh, that was insane. That was awesome. I never cheered for the Eagles in my life, but I was cheering for them. It's a good time.
And to be completely honest, we're not Patriots fans, but it's fun to watch a dynasty, especially in the NFL, keep it going year after year. And you know it's going to come to an end, like shortly.
Sooner or later. I mean, it's done in a couple years.
Yep.
And all them people that, I mean, you're going to miss them. It's going to be sad. It's going to be sad. The Patriots, they might not be done. It matters what Bill Belichick's going to do. But I feel once Tom Brady goes, especially if Bill Belichick gets another ring, he might call it quits in a couple years.
Yep. And we'll see what they do in the draft, too. I'm excited to see how they draft this year.
I think they're taking a QB. I think they're going to take a QB this year.
That's right.
But obviously, Bill Belichick, he has to fall QB to take him.
So looking at these two games, I wanted to kind of quickly go over the injuries. So it's surprising. I know I was reading an article. They were talking about how these are the 4 healthiest teams. And the 4 healthiest teams in NFL. So believe it or not, you have only Eric Berry. I know it's a big miss for the defense.
Is he ruled out?
City. He's not ruled out. He's questionable with the heel.
Okay.
You have Spencer Ware with the hamstring. He's questionable, but I don't really see him playing. And then Dorian O'Daniel, it's all KC players questionable. Other than that, you have your IR players, so nothing else to report. So it looks good injury-wise.
Yeah, that's what it is. Hey, that's what it takes. The ball has to bounce your way. You got to get some luck. That's how you make it here.
Yep, 100%. So that goes for ours. We'll report next week on how the games play out. And, I mean, I feel like we have a really good idea of already how they're going to play out.
Yeah, we just broke them down. I mean, I can't wait to break down the Super Bowl.
Yeah. 100%.
Hopefully my predictions are right.
So, moving on. Ryan, you have any quick talk about MLB? Anything you want to go over?
Well, I feel the main topics in the MLB right now is where's Bryce Harper and Manny Machado going to?
Yep.
And I feel after they sign, you're going to see the snowball effect where free agents are going to be coming off the board like crazy. Everyone's waiting for those two to pick a team.
That's how it is in any sport.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, but
everyone
more
waits for that giant contract.
Yep.
And
they wait for the main guys to sign, and then they kind of build their contracts off that. So why I think it's taken so long is these guys are asking for ridiculous numbers. They want to beat that Giancarlo Stanton contract, which was 13 years on $320 million, somewhere around there.
They're looking to
me on that, but they want to pass that. They want to pass that, and I know they want to make minimum $30 million a year annually. So let's get into that.
Hey,
Bryce
Brian,
Harper.
Either of these guys you think deserves that kind of money?
Do they deserve it? Do they deserve it?
As
you know what?
Player,
my take on it is this. If I will never, ever fault a player for signing a contract that's offered to him. It's all about what the owners are willing to pay for these guys.
Yep.
Do they deserve this money? Nobody deserves that amount of money besides some doctors,
Yeah.
Like
I'm talking about
sure.
stats. I'm talking about the player.
No. Okay. All right. Let's break that down. So Bryce Harper, besides his MVP season, Bryce Harper is an above average outfielder.
Yeah.
It's just the truth, man. It is. I do like Harper. I do. And he has massive potential, and obviously he showed that MVP season. That's what everyone is chasing.
Yeah.
Manny Machado, great player. Absolute stud of a player. He can do everything. But what I don't like is he is dirty. He broke Dustin Pedroia's ankle on a dirty slide. And if you watch the NLCS, he had a couple dirty plays against us, 3 of them.
Yeah,
He
you could
intentionally
search a whole compilation on YouTube.
Yeah, he intentionally stepped on Zeus's ankle. And you never know, that could have snapped. And just that kind of antics, as any team, sure, the talent's great, but do you want that guy as the face of your team and his antics and what he does? If the Brewers signed him, I would genuinely be upset. I would.
Me too.
You know what? It's going to help the team.
But
you don't want that. You don't want that, especially with the Brewers. Though they have a clubhouse, which is it's like a best friend get together, man. That is how that team is set up.
Yeah,
you
chemistry.
Throw Machado
it's
in
all
there,
about chemistry, less
and
about
that's what
money.
it is. I think he would knock the chemistry off. But let's go back to where they want ridiculous amount. They want to break Stanton's record. I don't know if it's going to happen. As you could see last offseason, the GMs got very smart. They were not handing out ridiculous contracts. They're often offering market to below market value, I feel. This year, I think Harper and Machado, they definitely weren't an 8-year deal, but anybody giving guys 10 years, $30 million a year is just ridiculous, especially with these contracts being guaranteed. I can see an 8-year deal either. If you want to do 30, go ahead and do it. They're both 26. They're both 26, so they're fairly young. And if you do give them an 8-year deal, it ends at 34 years old. I mean, it's probably the end of their primes. So you'll get them through their prime and to the end. And I think that's fair, but just the numbers that they're demanding is crazy. And there's a rumor flying around that it's not out of the realm of possibilities that the Phillies sign both of them.
I've read that today.
That is insane. And I don't see it happening, but that's just insane if they do get them. And they're also the favorite to get Mike Trout when he becomes a free agent. So you could see all 3 of them teamed up in Philly.
I think the odds are low, but just thinking about that is just insane.
Very low, very low.
And I think the signing of Harper, also to some of these teams you see that are not really in contention, is more for his name to put butts in the seats.
Well, did you see what the White Sox did? They traded for Yonder Alonso. That is Manny Machado's sister's husband. And they signed John Jay, which is a Machado. So they're over there trying to live there. Yeah. And honestly, it might be a good fit. You think of Chicago White Sox, I just feel like it'd be a good fit for Machado.
For Machado, yes. For Harper, no.
Harper, no. Part of me wants to see Harper stay in Washington.
And I think that's the favorite right now. If I was looking at the lines, I think you could bet on it. Well. It is the favorite. But
the
they
team
also
I
were
don't
talking
want to see
about
him go to is the Cubs. It's a possibility.
Cubs, you're talking about the Cardinals.
This is what's scary.
And you're talking about the Yankees too.
Yeah. You can never rule out the Yankees.
Yeah, they're always.
But here's the thing with the Cubs: they are waiting for ownership to give them the go ahead, and they will instantly sign Harper. Harper and Chris Bryant are best friends.
Yep.
So that is a big key to. And the thing is, with the market how it is right now, and these contracts, for them what they want, they're not going to get what they want. So, which is scary because that means the Cubs can swoop in.
Yeah.
Offer Harper $30 million annually, 8 years, and maybe throw him like a player, maybe like an opt-out midway through. There's no way he's declining. He's going to join. That's what I'm worried about.
Especially if he's shopping and the teams that he wants to go to are just a little bit less, maybe. Then
yeah, it's scary. I mean, I'm excited to see where they do go, but I want
Yeah.
to talk a little bit about the Brewers and what they're. And I truly believe this is a great time to be a Brewer fan. They're going for it. They almost made it to the World Series last year, game short. And this offseason, they just picked up Yasmani Grandal. I mean, he's a top 5 catcher in the league. It's a 1-year deal, sure. But as the Brewers, there's no such thing as a bad 1-year deal. A lot of people are mad about much.
Yeah.
1 year, 18 million, 16 million, whatever it was. And just to solidify your backstop like that is great.
Especially with the catchers in the league.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So I looked something up. They had a spray chart. So they showed his spray chart of last year.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing with Yelich when we signed him. They projected Yelich having 30-plus home runs, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did with Yasmani Grandal is his spray chart, if he played all his games at Miller Park last year, he would have hit 40 home runs. That's insane.
That's insane.
Put him in the Brewers lineup at the 7th spot. That is scary. It's just scary.
To have that depth.
Now we do have a hole at second base. I'll admit that, but there's still options out there. You got Josh Harrison. You got guys you can trade for. You got Keston Hero waiting in the minors. He's not going to come up until June. But he's the second overall hitting prospect behind, I think, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. of Toronto.
And they're talking about wanting they should be bringing him up too.
But the thing is, they're not gonna. Yeah. He's not gonna start the season because they don't want to start the years of control early. If they wait till June, I think it like bypasses it, and you still got him for 6 years. So, and unfortunately, you have to do that.
Yep.
You need as many years as control as possible over him.
So talking about the Brewers, though, it's hard because our division is hard.
Oh, all the teams are trying to win. Look at the Reds. They're even trying to win.
Every single team, pretty much.
And actually, every single team. They just picked up Goldschmidt, first baseman from. He's a top 5 first baseman. They just got him.
I feel like we as a division is going to have the biggest battle.
Oh, it's going to be the toughest division for sure. You got 3 teams for sure going. Like 3 teams for sure are going to be there. The Cubs, the Brewers, and the Cardinals. You got Pittsburgh. They're closer to a rebuild, but they're still fighting. They still have that core players. And they traded for Chris Archer at the deadline last year. That shows. Maybe that might have been let's get fans in the seats type of move. But I feel, he's still a great pitcher.
You can cut them off, kind of.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, they're not like a top tier team, but you can't count them out. And then the Reds, what are they doing? I don't see how they're going to compete, but they're trying. They're trying to get Corey Kluber from the Indians. They're trying to trade for him. It's like, why are they trading for a top pitcher if they're not going for it? They're trying. They're going to try to go for it. Do I think it's the right thing to do for them? I don't think so. But,
and it's what we did for a long time as Brewers fans. Is just you're going to sit at 500 and just try to bring people to the stadium.
Hey, man, it's completely break the team down and start over. Or that's what you got to do if you're stuck in the middle. Dude, the Reds have been stuck. They're hanging on to Scooter Gennett. They're hanging on to Joe Votto. For what reason? There's no reason.
Did you
Ship
see that,
them away. Get your prospects. Start over.
You see that notification just popped up about Joe Madden saying that it's not going to happen for Cubs getting Harper?
Oh, really? No, I didn't see that.
Yep, it just popped up. So breaking.
Take that with a grain of salt, dude. Take it with a grain of salt. That's smoke screening, man. Never know.
All right, well, we'll divert from MLB. Took that what we wanted to talk about, and then every week we'll kind of just hit some hot points. Hopefully next week we come around and we're talking about big signings.
Oh, for sure. With MLB, I do want to hit top stories, but I'm going to break down the Brewers, and if anyone else has any want me to break down your team, I can. I know a lot about baseball. Just hit me up and ask if I can mention your team and what they should do and what they can do, what they have for their prospects, anything. Ask any question about the team that you like. I can break them down for you.
Yeah, and we're gonna use Ryan for MLB. He's an expert. He knows from top to bottom every team. And
I've been following MLB since
he's into the farm system
hardcore since 2005, man. And farm system, I'm into the top 100 prospects in deeper, and
Yeah.
Once you get past like after about the 30th prospect in the team system, I'm not really sure after that, but that's why I'm not a GM, man.
That's why you're not a scout.
Exactly. But yeah,
right.
I can do a breakdown of any team if any of you guys want. That. So.
Yeah. So let's throw in one last little section here. We'll do like a hot section. One thing that I see on the news is Cam could sit out for 2019. Do you see that? Where Panthers owners are considering the option to heal him in his shoulder, that he would sit out the whole 2019 season.
That was a serious injury then. That's brand new to me, man. That's some big news right there.
Well, it just shows you what he was playing through probably then at the end of the season.
He was you could tell it was affecting him. Sadly, it was affecting him big time.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see. Just reading off the top of my head on that Cam Newton, I'm maybe a 50.
We got to follow that. We got to follow that story.
Yep. So those are more of the stories
we should talk about. Yeah, next week we should also talk about Antonio Brown, man. Where is he going to go?
So we'll talk about that over the off season. That'll be more of our topics going forward. So besides that, we're going to hit our conclusion. You got anything, Ryan, before we end the show?
No, I just want to say this was our first podcast, and there's going to be errors and stuff like that. We're gonna, as the time goes on, we're gonna straighten these things out and bring information to everyone, just like how we learn.
Yep.
And that's what I want to do as well. I want to help people win their leagues, and I would love to answer questions. I hope it comes a time where people are asking, private messaging me and you and asking, hey, who should I start him? Should I start him? What do you think about this trade?
Or MLB news,
I would love that. Oh, hit me up with any MLB news. I would love that too. Like, hey, I follow any team, man. Any team, blank. What do you think they can do? What should they do at the trade deadline? Anything, man. I want to answer questions. I want to help. I want to help you with all that.
And being our first episode right here, we kind of drew it out pretty long. Hopefully people stuck it out just to give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about, how we're going to break it down. We're definitely going to get it within the hour, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. We'll even do half-hour sections. So we just want to let you know that we're going to look out for the MLB news. We're going to look out for your fantasy teams. We're just going to cover all the news we can, all the fantasy tips that we can. And
even top stories in the NBA, man.
Yeah. We
touch on those too. Big trades, big rumors, stuff like that. We'll run through those as well as time goes on.
We look forward to the future episodes. We're going to do this weekly. We haven't come up with a certain day that we're going to do it on, but once we get that day, we're going to do it every single time. We're going to be found on Twitter. We're going to make ourselves an email. If you ever want to email us, we'll give out our Twitters. And
we're going to try to jump on Twitch too and do some live ones together as well.
We'll be on YouTube. We'll be on Apple. Links. So Apple iTunes, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. Let us know what we can improve on, what we're doing well, and any questions. We would greatly appreciate it. So
I want to mention one more thing to it. As time goes on, we cut out on a thing if that's what you guys want. If you feel that we're really good at a certain topic, let us know. And if we're not good at something, be like, hey, maybe you guys should cut this kind of segment out. Go ahead. I mean, I want that. I want criticism. I want what we're doing well, what we're not doing.
Yep.
We want that.
Perfect. Then you'll see us once a week. Once fantasy football starts up, we'll try to get to 2-3 times a week as news is breaking.
For sure.
And we'll definitely get a website up and running, and our standings, our tier list. We have it all. We go into our drafts with all that information, and now that we have this podcast, we're able to put that information from our heads onto paper and then give it to you guys. So
give it to you guys, yep, to take in your leagues.
So we appreciate it. We appreciate you following along on the MVP podcast for sports and fantasy news. We'll catch you next time. Thank you.